Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the invisible engine that powers literally every single international call you make. Behind every successful global voice connection is this massive, complex network working completely out of sight. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and make that invisible network visible. Think about it for a second. Have you ever actually wondered how that connection happens so fast? You dial a number, and before you can even take a breath, someone on the exact opposite side of the planet says, hello. How does your voice jump continents in a fraction of a second? That magic, that hidden infrastructure, is exactly what we're decoding today. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at the invisible telecom engine. Second, the journey of a call. Third, cost, quality, and routing. Fourth, securing the global network. And finally, number 5, the future of VoIP. Let's jump right in. Section 1, the invisible telecom engine. This is the technology connecting our worlds. Okay, so right at the core of this whole ecosystem is something called Global Wholesale VoIP Termination. Sounds like a total mouthful, right? But essentially, it's just the delivery of voice calls across international telecom networks using Voice over Internet Protocol, or VoIP. It completely bypasses those dedicated physical telephone wires, transmitting your voice data instantly over IP networks instead. When you compare traditional telephone infrastructure to modern VoIP networks, the contrast is honestly night and day. Relying entirely on old-school copper wire telephony was just so limiting. VoIP networks, on the other hand, well, they make communication exponentially faster, infinitely more scalable, and a whole lot more cost-effective. It's basically the evolution from a rigid physical track to a wildly flexible, high-speed digital highway. All right, Section 2, the journey of a call, from dial to connection. Let's look at a real-world example. Imagine a customer in the US is calling a colleague in Germany. Step 1, the call is generated by their local provider and instantly hits a wholesale VoIP network. Step 2, in the absolute blink of an eye, the wholesale carrier analyzes multiple available global routes. Step 3, the system automatically locks in the absolute best path and delivers the call to the destination carrier in Germany, instantly connecting the two people. Boom. That entire 3-step journey, it happens in a fraction of a second. But you're probably wondering, how does it actually choose that path so incredibly fast? Well, think of the VoIP platform as a hyper-fast travel agent. When it's analyzing millions of potential paths for your voice to take, it's instantly weighing 4 crucial routing factors: cost, call quality, latency, and network availability. It's literally hunting for the cheapest, fastest, and clearest trip for your voice data every single time you hit dial. Section 3, cost, quality, and routing, the 3 pillars of success. The sheer scale of the economics here is just wild. Wholesale VoIP providers maintain direct interconnections with operators all over the globe. And because they're exchanging such massive volumes of international traffic, they can lock in highly competitive wholesale pricing. That economy of scale heavily reduces operational costs for telecom operators, internet service providers, call centers, and big communication platforms. Cost efficiency is fantastic, sure, but price is only one part of the equation here. Voice quality is equally, if not more, important. Because, let's be real, it doesn't matter how cheap a routing path is if the audio drops out or you sound like you're talking from the bottom of a swimming pool. To guarantee that crystal clear quality, providers constantly monitor some really vital key performance indicators. We're talking metrics like answer seizure ratio, average call duration, post-dial delay, packet loss, jitter, and mean opinion score. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of heavy jargon, but really, these just act as essential quality checkpoints to make sure your calls connect fast and the audio stays pristine. But what happens if one of those checkpoints suddenly spots a problem? That's where intelligent routing steps up. Modern platforms use dynamic routing algorithms that are constantly evaluating network conditions in real time. So if a specific route suddenly gets congested or degrades, the system acts as an automatic failsafe. It instantly redirects your traffic through a better performing alternative, completely bypassing the jam without you ever even noticing. Moving on to Section 4, securing the global network, protecting the invisible engine. As you can imagine, the stakes in this global telecom ecosystem are absolutely massive. The major security concerns that these wholesale providers have to constantly defend against include things like unauthorized access, toll fraud, and some really complex cyber threats. These are serious vulnerabilities that can cost millions and totally disrupt global communication if they're left unchecked. So, to counter these threats, providers deploy some incredibly robust network protections. We're talking fraud detection systems, strict traffic monitoring, real-time analytics, and session border controllers. Those controllers basically act like heavy-duty digital bodyguards, standing right at the gates to keep all unauthorized traffic out. And thank goodness for those bodyguards, because you and I rely on this network every single day. As global communications scales up, this robust wholesale VoIP infrastructure is exactly what powers the modern tools we all take for granted. It is the literal backbone for cloud communications, unified communication platforms, AI-powered contact centers, and massive global enterprise networks. This invisible engine is keeping the modern business world connected.
Finally, Section 5, the future of VoIP, intelligence and automation.
Looking ahead, the future of wholesale VoIP is getting insanely smart. Networks are shifting away from being reactive systems and turning into proactive engines. Artificial intelligence is already stepping in to optimize all those complex routing decisions we just talked about. Predictive analytics are being used to anticipate network performance, and automation is allowing providers to spot and resolve issues completely invisibly, long before a customer even notices a tiny drop in quality. Global Wholesale VoIP Termination truly is the engine that lets businesses communicate across borders, slashes costs, and guarantees the quality of our connected world. But it definitely leaves us with a fascinating final thought. If AI is already navigating millions of global routes in milliseconds, predicting network failures, and fixing our calls before we even notice, what happens to global telecommunications when it actually starts answering them? Think about that the next time you hear a ringtone. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.